Hi everybody, welcome to the QB School. I am JT O'Sullivan. Today, fun one. We're talking about what happens between plays in the NFL. So from one whistle all the way to the start of the next play, there can be a lot going on. What exactly happens specifically from the lens of a quarterback? We are diving into it. Let's get it going. Welcome to the QB School. So the idea for today's video came from Marvin. Let the quarterback school know what videos you want to see next. If you want to get a chance to respond to this email, just sign up for the quick game course. The link is in the description. Get you this thing. So Marvin, hey JT, thanks for the question. So there are two things that I really love on your channel and that I didn't find somewhere else on YouTube. First, I really love your in-depth analysis of NFL level pass concepts with examples from different playbooks and teams. So these are always welcome. If I recall correctly, you haven't touched on the dagger sucker concept yet. So this would be a banger. All right, did it, done. It's up in the corner. Put a little card for you. The other is the insight you give of actually being in the NFL. So what I would love to know is what is happening for the NFL quarterback from the end of one play, or even from the moment he gets rid of the ball in one play until the next play starts. I'm talking about getting the new play call, managing the huddle, getting to the line, checking or making audibles, and then starting the next play. So these are two general questions. I would suggest with two actual examples of what I would love to see or hear from you. Have a great day and greetings from Germany, Marvin. Absolutely outstanding question, Marvin. Also love the international reach we got going on here. There are American football fans all over the place. I appreciate the insightful questions. So we did the dagger one a while back. Now we're going to talk about what happens for a quarterback from the moment that they throw the ball or the whistle until the next play. Now, putting some scaffolding around this thing a little bit. It's going to be different for every quarterback, every team, every play caller, and every person who's on the mic talking to the quarterback. So it's not always the play caller. Sometimes the coordinator's up in the booth. Sometimes it's the quarterback position coach. Sometimes it's another quarterback. There can be a number of different people who are technically on the mic, but only one person has that access to be able to talk to the quarterback. Now, I don't recall off the top of my head, but it certainly cuts off at some point. Usually I would guess like 18 seconds on the play clock. So from that moment you throw the ball or the play ends, there's usually some sort of comment about, hey, great job, or hey, get them the next time. So some kind of like quick reflection on what just happened. And then there is essentially kind of a list or order of things that normally happen in kind of a repetitive method. And so normally it would be what personnel is coming in the game. So maybe you're staying in the same personnel. Maybe you're in 11 personnel and you're going to 12 personnel. Maybe you're in 21 personnel and you're going to 10 personnel. And so if you don't, I'm pretty sure I have a personnel video, I'll probably put the card in the corner. But so you first have to communicate the personnel. And so the personnel are usually running on and off the field. And again, this is operating under a lot of assumptions here that we're in a huddle tempo, that we're getting into a huddle. And so you can't have too many people on the field at the same time, and so you want to make sure you're communicating. So you would echo it and just say 11 personnel, 11-11, or something, whatever if you have a term for it, if you call it zebra, tiger, or whatever your personnel is, you're communicating. That is the first thing. Then the play caller will usually just tell you the play. Now, this is where it starts getting a little blurry. Hopefully you're doing this with a lot of time on the clock. Hopefully. Not all play callers are created the same. And so what I mean by that is sometimes play callers are scrambling on their play sheet. Sometimes they're making stuff up, rarely at this level, but sometimes they're slower than others. Some are intentionally really quick. There's a lot of bonuses to being really quick with the play call because it gives you more time at the line of scrimmage. So because all of these play callers are not created the same, they're all going to get it in at a different time. And so if they get it in with enough time, you usually are able to kind of regurgitate the play in the huddle, usually say it once and maybe throw out like a coaching point if it's a passing play, or, you know, hey, you got this big block on this play if it's a run play. But normally, if you're the quarterback, you're throwing out coaching points to specific guys in a passing game situation. Like, hey, you know, make sure you get your depth. Hey, what are they doing on, you know, maybe before the play? You're like, hey, what was the coverage on the last one? What was the rotation? Were they off? Were they on? Can you handle this guy, or something like that in between? But once you're calling the play, you call the play, you call the snap count, you break the huddle. Now we're going to the line of scrimmage. There's usually another opportunity to give a little coaching cue or point to someone if you want to. It doesn't happen all the time, but I think it happens pretty significant amount of the time. And then at the very end, you usually get an opportunity, specifically if you're in shotgun, to have a final word with what's going on with the back. But in between there, so from the breaking the huddle, walking to the line of scrimmage, you're now usually going to start getting your eyes on the defense. So depending on what system you're in, what your responsibility is from the quarterback, are you tethered to the pass protection? Do you need to point out the mic every single play? If not, can your eyes be kind of where they need to be for that play? Are you always looking at the shell of the defense, meaning the safeties? Every offense is going to be different. So that's why it's almost impossible for me to tell you, hey, this is chronologically how it happens all the time. I would say most places, the quarterback will be either make the mic call, the declaration, or at least be aware of where the offensive line is going. So you need to figure out where the line is going, where they set the middle of the three linebacker types, usually. Not always, usually. From there, you can really get into playing the play. And so your eyes, at least for me, are usually where they need to be for that specific play. Normally at the snap, they'll be at the safeties just to confirm what you think pre-snap. But all the time while that's going on, maybe there's a shift. Maybe there's a motion. If there is, then you have to kind of signify that and be the conductor. So when I was playing and we would do shifts and or motions, sometimes I wouldn't even look at the guy who's shifting. Sometimes you wouldn't even, you know, you got so many things going on, you don't even necessarily know where they're shifting from. You just know where they're ending up. So it could be something where you just get up there and, you know, go like this. Most of the time in motion, you'll know where they're going for them. So you see guys hit them like this, see guys hit them like this, see get the head going, make eye contact, those types of things that happen with a little bit more with motion than with shifts. And then you need to make sure that you're snapping the ball with enough time, either on the clock or if you're using motion with the correct motion landmark. All of those things go into then actually having to play the play. So there are quite a number of different things that go into this sequence. And so for me, you know, in short, see if I can put it in a more condensed version, it is quick reflection on what happened on the previous play. Personnel, they give you the play call in your ear. Now, the thing that I forgot to mention here is they give you the play call in your ear. You'll usually regurgitate it right into the huddle. From that huddle break, hey, on one-on-one, ready, break, clap and go, as you're walking up to the line of scrimmage. Anecdotally, for me, I used to like the play caller to usually give me keys, tips, indicators. So they could keep talking to you up until it turns off at whenever it turns off. I liked that. Many quarterbacks and kind of old school grizzled vets back in the day, not a fan of that. So it can be different for every guy. Do you like getting more coaching points or tips or reminders? Some people do, some people don't. Now I had no problem talking to teammates while the coach was talking in my ear. You know, you basically just tune one out to make sure that you're communicating what you want to communicate, or you can just regurgitate what they're telling you. Remind so-and-so to get his depth. Remind so-and-so he goes first. You know, different things like that can happen all while you're going to the line of scrimmage. So then once you get to the line of scrimmage, your offense is going to be unique to you, whether it's the declaration for the protection, the run game, whether it's just shell identification, whether it's confirmation, pre-snap about what the defense is doing. And then the ball is snapped, you play the play, and you rinse and repeat. So lots of stuff going on there. That's an absolutely outstanding question. Hopefully I shed a little bit of light into what that process is like for an NFL quarterback. I certainly appreciate the question, the support for the channel. I will see you next time. Have a good one.